Today I'm going through my art journaling Bible and looking at the paintings I created on the pages of the book of the Songs of Solomon, which is a love poem right in the middle of the Bible. And in this book, there's so much imagery that inspired me, and I wanted to take the challenge of creating some paper cuts based on this book. I made a line drawing inspired by one of the verses that talks about the woman, fair as the moon, bright as the sun, awesome as an army with banners. I'm replacing the blades on my knife to start out this project. This is actually one of the most intricate designs I have made, and I'm challenging myself to create a paper cut with very fine details. Because it's just a challenge, I want to improve my paper cutting skills, and I want to express something that I haven't expressed before in the fine details and the designs in this piece. And if you look closely, you will see two hidden faces in this design. There's a picture of a woman and a man looking at each other across two mountains, and the moon is in between them. And as I work on this detailed piece, there are so many thoughts I want to share about the experience of love, the theme of love that is in the Bible. And sometimes people wonder why this book, the Song of Solomon, is in the middle of the Bible, because it's a love poem. And it follows the style of the ancient Near East, and the language in that poem is very unusual and something that might feel a little odd or unusual for the modern audience. But when I read this poem, I get moved by the idea of how much people can experience the feeling of love, of being loved and loving, of longing and desiring. And these are all human experiences, which is a part of life in every culture. When you read the beginning of this poem, you see that these two people are expressing their love and desire for one another, and they seem to know each other intimately right from the beginning of the poem. But there is a refrain that you read 3 times in this entire book, which says, "Do not stir up or awaken love until it so pleases." It's a warning to not awaken love, to wait for the right timing. And I want to share more about this in a minute. Here I'm cutting out the little foxes, which is also described in the poem. It says, "Take care, look out for the little foxes that spoil the vines." And in any relationship, whether it's a love relationship or a relationship between different people, we need to look out for the little foxes of different issues that rise up that can spoil the relationship, that can bring harm. And there are little red flags that we need to look out for at every stage of our lives. And the Bible tells us many things about how we can look out, how we can navigate through different kinds of relationships. And as I was saying about do not stir up or awaken love, this is a very important principle for young people, that there is a season for everything in our lives. There's a season of knowing and not knowing, of experiencing things and waiting for certain experiences. When you think about the love relationship between a man and a woman, it is one of the most intimate relationships on earth. The love between a husband and wife that is permanent, a marriage that goes on for the whole lifetime. This is an ideal which the Bible promotes, monogamy and faithfulness in a committed relationship. And it is one of the most rewarding and beautiful experiences. And having been married for 22 years, and being a wife and a mother of 5 children, I can tell you that a peaceful marriage is one of the most satisfying and wonderful experiences you can possibly have. In this world, there are so many people who are hurting. So many people have not seen a peaceful marriage, either in their own homes or in the homes of others. But I just want to tell you, this is God's plan that a man and woman should be together for life in peace. The Bible tells us in the Song of Solomon, there's a beautiful refrain, "My beloved is mine and I am his." It's such a wonderful thing to know that you belong to someone, to know that you are fully someone else's and someone else is fully yours. This is a beautiful concept, and it applies to our relationship with God, because God is fully ours and we are fully his. When I think about how much God loves me, how much he cares for me, and he looks out for me, it just brings joy to my heart. It is such a precious reality that we are loved by God. You can see that now I'm moving on. Having cut my entire design, I'm adding some color by tracing out some of the yellow parts in the flowers, and using a pointed stick, I am applying some glue to the design, and from the back I add the pieces of paper which have been cut to fit in the place where I want the color to be. This is a very detailed process, and it is a very long process, but I wanted to show you this in real time so you can see how much work is involved in coloring a paper cut. You can also see the places where I've made mistakes on the back of my design, and I have little pieces of tape connecting broken parts of this design. But this is all on the back side, so you will not see it at the very end. Working with tiny pieces of paper to color the flowers was a little bit of a challenge, but I'm using a light table which helps me to see the outlines. It helps me to see how exactly I need to place the colors. One of the most beautiful lines in the Song of Solomon is this. Let me just read it to you because it is so beautiful. It says, "Arise and come away. My beloved speaks and says to me, Arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away. For behold, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, the time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtledove is heard in our land. The fig tree ripens its figs, and the vines are in bloom. They give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away." The word arise evokes in me a sense of longing, a sense of possibility, a sense that something great is going to happen. God commands a person to arise when they have been down, and this word is used in many parts of the Bible. Jesus tells the sick people to rise up, to arise, and they are healed. The thought of rising up out of the darkness, out of despair, out of hopelessness, it just is a wonderful thought to me. The thought that God calls his people to arise, that we have hope for life. There are possibilities and unimaginably wonderful things ahead of us in our lives. The background in this paper cut is made with ink, and I have wet the piece of paper here and covering specific areas with ink. As my design has a mountain in the background with lots of foliage, I'm using greens and blues to cover the background. The ink spreads as I spray water, and it's a fascinating process, which I enjoy very much to use for my paper cut backgrounds. Using water and a brush and a spray, you can create all kinds of backgrounds which look abstract, and blends the color in very unique, organic ways, which I really enjoy. And I love using this technique for my paper cut backgrounds. We all have moments in life when we need a new perspective and a new revelation. When God says to us, "Arise," it gives us permission to rise up into a new experience, a new realization, a new way of living our lives. The idea of God making things new is also a common idea in the Bible. The word arise reminds me of starting something, beginning something, entering into something that's new. God breathes new life into those who turn to Him, and every day is a new beginning for all of us. When we rise up out of bed, we can tell ourselves, "Arise," and we can be full of hope and expectation for the things that are ahead of us. Once the ink has dried, I can lay my paper cut over the ink, and I love the way the colors have blended together, and I love the way the black outlines stand out against the background that I created. This is still a work in progress, and I'm still going to be working on layering the inks. This is what I wanted to share with you today. A scene of hope, a scene of love, a scene inspired directly from the Song of Solomon. May the Lord bless you. I hope you were inspired today.